state of action, separate and apart from the physical body. About 25% of the population throughout the world, I guess, has this spontaneously take place at least once in their lifetime.
Hey guys, it's Margie, it's Dan.
Hey, turkeys.
Welcome to the Gen-Xers. Please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Welcome to our show.
They've done it already.
Of course you have, and you've asked your friends and been on Patreon and all that stuff. How are you guys doing?
You talking to me?
I am talking to you. We're going to be talking about our big topic of discussion, which is the gateway tapes. We've been promising you guys a follow-up on that, and boy, do we have one.
We've got a big gateway tape video essay we've been working on all week. One of the reasons, there's many reasons we didn't go live tonight. It's been a heck of a week, some of which we'll get into. The arthritis flare-up still going on. We haven't had clean, drinkable water in over a week around here. That's a story all in of itself, and believe me, I'm going to be doing a video on this.
We're gonna be breaking it wide open, guys.
And so, yeah, and plus I'm still having some brain fog from this flare-up. I didn't want to just be in the middle of a live show and blank out. And then you are stuck there with me going, huh?
No, and then
what?
I in turn also blank out, panicking, and then you guys are stuck with both of us going, what?
What?
Just imagine this for like 43 minutes.
Huh? Where am I?
That's a regular day, by the way. That's a regular day here. So,
but yeah, we've got that gateway program video essay. It's fascinating stuff. And then we are going to talk about our own experiences. And we did the gateway tapes all the way up to 14, which is a remote viewing exercise. And we decided to try it. We put some numbers in the envelope, lottery style, 6 numbers, hid them in different rooms. Listened to this tape and tried to view each other's numbers as well as some other stuff. You'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
We don't even know how we did yet. We're going to unveil it here for you tonight.
yeah, we have not even opened our respective envelopes. So I don't know what he chose. He doesn't know what I chose. But we're gonna talk about that here in just a little bit.
This technique did not help with the Powerball.
Right. We're still... So I've gotten to the point, you know, as you guys know, we're up to like what, 1.7
billion
cajillions of dollars, right? I've gotten to the point, Dan, where I've filled in so many Powerball ticket things. I'm just like drawing pictures, like I'm making little designs, like we used to do the standardized tests, where you'd, you know, fill in the dots until it looked like a middle finger.
Oh yeah, I made one look like a peace sign for the one that the military gave you.
Right.
They still called me every day. Hey, you want to come on and join?
Yeah.
I had a friend who did it. He liked it. Anyway, a whole other thing. Keep
Yeah.
going. Sorry.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we apparently, again, no winning number last night. So we're gonna have to stop and get some more Powerball tickets. And each time we get Powerball tickets, the number of tickets we get increases slightly.
But so does it for everybody else, just about, and the odds go up.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just this cycle of...
We're going to manifest it. It's all right.
Yeah.
This time next week, we'll be billionaires.
Cajillionaires. We'll be busy with our production crew for Grown Ups 3.
Yeah, I'll be right on the phone with Adam Sandler saying, I got a script ready. I've had it ready for years. Let's do this.
That's right. That's right.
What would you do? What's the first thing you'd do if we actually won that $1 billion?
Okay, yeah. So like, of course, you know, after, you know, pooping yourself, screaming, crying, I would probably be confirming the numbers over and over again. I'd be like, what are those numbers again? Can I see those numbers again? Can I hold those numbers? Can I take a picture of those numbers? Like, I would be like freaking out. I think the very first thing I would do, though, is probably call my mom. I'd probably go over to my mom's. I wouldn't call her. I would go over there and I'd be like, why don't you lay down and put your feet up above your heart?
Sure.
And why don't you just chew on this baby aspirin? I got some stuff to tell you. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah. I don't know what I would do. Pay a few bills.
What's the very first
Probably get
thing?
a new hat.
But I mean, like, what's the very first thing? Like, let's say you look at the ticket.
Triple check the numbers 500 times.
Right.
Then immediately start worrying about what if something happens to the ticket before I can cash it.
But after all that.
Like, immediately the anxiety would be like, what?
Get this in a...
Forget it. I don't want to win this thing. Now I start thinking about the headache. Forget it. I don't need those trouble to worry about what I'm going to do with that ticket and keep it safe.
Yeah.
I would, though. I'd be afraid, like, what if, there's a fire or I just lose it? Because I lose stuff, Margaret. I misplace stuff. I lose it.
Dan,
So the first thing I'd do is give you the ticket and say, Margaret, keep this safe.
You know what I'd do? I'd put it in that coffee can right under our bed. No.
But anyway, somebody's going to win, and if it's one of you, don't forget us.
Right? Your old pals. Marg and Dan over here. Yeah.
What else has went on this week?
Well, you had a pretty harrowing day yesterday.
I did. I was going to run just right down the street here is the dollar store, the Dollar General store, and I was going to go run and get some water because, again, we have no drinkable water. They say it's safe to take a shower in, but if you can't drink it, I don't know if I want it running in my crevices.
Right.
You know what I mean? My
Right.
orifices and whatnot.
Your mucous membranes. You don't want that.
And we don't know what's in it. We know some of the stuff that's in it, and it's not good. Again, that's for the future. So anyway, yeah, sorry, did you want to say something?
No, you go ahead. I'm going to return back to this in a moment.
So I was going to go down the dollar store, and here on this side, on one side of the house, there's the old highway, kind of a side smaller street. On the other side's a big highway, Highway 8. Mm-hmm. So I was just going to take the small street and goes right down there. Well, there's a whole bunch of work on the road because of the water, so that was a big pain in the ass. There's all kinds of dust in the air. I was breathing in. There's no air conditioner in my car, so I got to do this with all of the window rolled in.
Right.
Anyway, so I get there, I get the stuff, and I think, well, I'm going to go out on the highway to save some time. So I'm going to go out on the big highway. And again, this is like a block away. This is really close.
Yeah.
But I can't turn left. There's so much traffic. I'm just sitting there waiting. I'm like, forget it. It's kind of a dangerous turnout to go left there anyway. So I just decided to go right, and I'm like, I'll turn around somewhere. A little frustrated this time. Again, RA flare-up. Everything is a little more frustrating sometimes. Nothing too bad. I'm not cussing and smacking my... I'm not doing one of those things. I'm just like, gosh, it's a pain in the butt. I'm supposed to be home editing these videos for our viewers.
That's right. That's all I can think about
It
all
is
day long.
all I ever think about. So anyway, I take it right. I go up to this old highway. There's another way to get there, but it's a really long way about. And I go, well, I was thinking I haven't been that way in a long time. I used to live back there as a youngster somewhere. Just going to drive through and relax. Well, it's blocked off. There's some kind of freaking repairs going up there. So I finally I turn around, get back on the highway, able to take a left. I've made this story super long. But anyway, there is a point to it. Because I'm getting more and more frustrated as we go along. So I'm coming home, I get behind this Jeep. And they're going a little bit under the speed limit, which is what I usually do. I'm thinking about it, not a lot. Probably we're going right about the speed limit, about 55. But most people, I'm an old man driver. Luckily, I did keep a reasonable distance behind them because I do that as well. Anyway, we got to that same turnout by the dollar store, and some young woman pulled out there right in front of this Jeep. The Jeep hit her. The dude went flying out. Both people in her car went to the hospital. She was having a breakdown. She saw the guy come out of his Jeep, and she knew it was bad. And it was bad. They never pulled him out. I sat there for like 45 minutes to give a report to the cop. I had to slam on my brakes, but I was never in any real danger. Luckily, I saw her pulling out plenty ahead of time, but the guy in the Jeep did not. It was horrifying. I tell you, it makes you not take small things like 5 extra minutes of traveling out of your way.
Yeah.
So personally, it puts a new perspective on things. It was bad. I pray everybody's okay. I don't know. I haven't heard what happened to that guy yet. Yeah. They flew him out in a helicopter. I know that because we saw it coming over the house a little bit later.
PSA too, if you guys are involved or not involved in an accident, but if you guys witness an accident, and if you can, or even if you can't, call your work and tell them like, hey, I gotta hang around to give a statement to the cops. Hang around to give a statement to the cops. It helps. It helps the families. It helps the insurance companies sort of sort things out and figure things out. So I'm glad you stayed.
Yeah. I figured I was probably the number one witness there, and I was, but not anything I was happy to be a witness to.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, I was just glad, you texted me at work and said, like, this just happened to me, because that's how much it affected you. And it made me think about it, too, because you were right there. You were right there. So, take care of each other, guys.
Tell us about your close calls with death in the comments below.
Yeah.
Put anything in the comments below. It helps the algorithm. That's a little trick us YouTubers use.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, put this in the comments. Put that in the comments.
Yeah.
Go on, do it. What else we got, Mama?
Oh, let's see. What do we have? I know what we have. So we have to do something really important. So number one, Halloween's coming up, and we're going to be doing a lot of film reviews, just little brief film reviews of our favorite Halloween movies. We're going to be sharing them with some family members and giving you their responses as well. We've got 2 up on the table, and I think we're going to let them choose which one they want to see.
And we want you all to choose one as well, right? Like we're going to try to do 4, one a week in October.
Right.
But yeah, so far we've got Phantasm, which I'm going to deep dive that. You're going to understand everything about the Phantasm series by the time Old Dan's done. What was your pick?
Well, I have a few of them.
Okay.
So I have like Pumpkinhead. That was one of my favorites whenever I was growing up.
Ed Harley.
Watch out, old Ed Harley. Coming for you.
Okay.
So Pumpkinhead. The Frighteners is another one.
And I love The Frighteners.
It's definitely a family Halloween movie. It's meant to be kind of goofy. It's a little bit creepy. I mean, there's some creepy parts in there. Michael J. Fox, just a great, funny Halloween movie that's cute.
Not seen it in a long time. I remember really, really liking it. I've seen it a lot. Yeah.
We've seen it a few times. I know we've watched it with our girls. What else did we come up with? Ginger Snaps, which is one of my favorite Halloween movies and one I'd like to do a little deep dive into. Love Ginger Snaps. What do you have?
Phantasm was the one I'm picking for me for sure. I'm going to put up a poll over on the post page with a few different things to choose from. The Exorcist for sure, maybe the scariest movie ever. A few others, and then a room for other. So you all vote, and even if we only get 3 votes, top 1 we will do.
Yeah.
As long as it's, something appropriate.
Yeah.
Don't give us the X-rated version of, what's that movie where
Like-
a guy has a head cut off and he's walking around with it?
I don't know. When you said X-rated, I immediately thought of the title Sexorcist.
Yeah, don't send us the Sexorcist.
Please
We're not
don't.
going to do that one.
Please don't do that. But yeah, we're going to be doing that. But also, too...
Reanimator!
Okay, yeah. That was...
Okay.
Yeah. Also, too, it's really important that we watch Jaws with my brother, who's never seen it.
Yeah, we're at my father-in-law's the other day, and it was on, and we watched about probably 15 minutes of it with him. Yeah, and he was hooked.
And he
we
got
got to watch that.
He was hooked. Nice pun. Look at that.
Yeah, that's the way my mind works.
That's right.
Always different levels. Think I'm talking nonsense. I'm just on a level. 4 or 5 at once sometimes. When I'm down here, a lot of them are down here. Some up here.
Right?
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I like how you're laying it out for these young folks.
Yeah, for you youngsters.
That's right. Keeping it real. Okay.
And you old timers too. I got my eyes on you.
That's
I
right.
don't know why.
I do. All right, you know what?
I'm vigilant.
We're talking nonsense now. We are gonna get into this Gateway program, and we're gonna start with a deep dive into the whole Gateway program and kind of a rehash into where we are at the moment.
It was a lot of work. We hope you like it. We're still looking into this stuff. As we say in this Your comments help. So if you got any stories or anything you want to share, please do.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny, roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah. Have you ever had a memory so specific, yet so strange, you wondered if it was real? Something so beyond the norm for you that it shook the foundation of your beliefs? For me and Dan, it started with a sound. A run of almost random notes that we came across by accident on a video on YouTube. These strange sounds were followed by the sound of waves, and then an all too familiar voice of a man who said, "This is the first step along your path to a gateway beyond which is discovery."
This is the first step along your path to a gateway beyond which is discovery, your own discovery of reality, of truth, of who and what you are.
When we first heard the Gateway tapes again, a flood of memories hit us. Not just of those weird sounds, but of dimly lit, windowless classrooms and a pink drink. We remembered sitting with big, chunky headphones on, a strange beat buzzing in our ears as a disembodied voice guided us on a journey beyond our bodies. For us and countless others, this was the GATE program, a so-called gifted and talented class that felt more like a government experiment than a school program. The sounds on those tapes were called binaural beats, and they were designed to help us do something uncanny, to gently float, roll over like a log in water, the tapes say, out of our bodies. But why would an official school program want to teach us how to do that? As we talked about in our first GATE video, our experiences were in the late 70s and early 80s. And both of us experienced these things under the guise of speech therapy sessions. Based on viewer comments, we've found that others who have grown up during that time period were also pulled out of class, given strange tests, and then assigned to speech therapy that wasn't really speech therapy. It seems that it was only a few years later that this started going under the moniker of the GATE program. We've also had viewers share their experiences from as far back as the 60s and from places all over the world. No matter the time or place, though, certain elements remain the same. Everyone reporting said they were young, they were tested for possible psychic abilities, and they were given a drink, often pink or purplish, to make them forget. Now, however, a lot of people seem to be remembering for some reason. And with every viewer comment or email we get, the mystery deepens. We wanted answers, so we decided to start with what triggered our bizarre childhood memories, the Gateway tapes themselves. And this led us directly to a man named Robert Allen Monroe. Born October 30th, 1915, Monroe spent his childhood in Kentucky and Indiana. After graduating Ohio State University in 1937 with a BA in English, he worked as a writer and director at 2 Ohio radio stations. A couple of years later, he moved to New York and formed his own radio production company. And by the 1950s, Monroe was a titan of the airwaves, running RAM Enterprises, a production company that churned out as many as 28 radio shows per month.
My company, which I had at the time, was involved up until 1956 in very extensive network radio programs. In 1956 we had the choice of whether we converted all the way into television. We did not think that we wanted to go through this all over again. There must be something better to do than to go into television. And we had already 2 quiz shows in television and found that this was nice, but there must be something better. So I decided we would try something else. And being very professional in sound, we naturally began to think of some way to use sound as a new means of a new direction for our company. And what we first came up with and started conducting and in our research and development division of our company was how to help people learn while they are asleep.
In 1956, Monroe's company started a new research division to study the effects of sound patterns on human consciousness. Their focus was on sleep learning, the idea that you could absorb information while you slept. As a test subject, Monroe listened to countless hours of these recordings. And then in 1958, his life took a drastic turn. While experimenting with his sleep learning techniques, he began to experience a series of strange sensations. Paralysis, a vibrating feeling in his body, and a bright, pulsating light that appeared to be shining on him from a shallow angle. This worried him. It would worry anyone. So he saw a doctor about it. He had physical and mental examinations, but the doctors found nothing concrete to explain these strange symptoms. A psychiatrist friend of his declared him sane and suggested he might be having lucid or conscious dreams. And in any event, the phenomenon persisted, along with his strange recurring dreams.
I was totally frightened. Panic-stricken is a better word for it. And I went through, as a result, all the processes of medical examinations, psychiatric examinations, trying to determine why this was happening.
Then one night, while drifting off to sleep, Robert Monroe found himself floating above his own bed, looking down at his sleeping body.
And one night I was lying in bed, waiting for this vibration to cool down or fade away, as it were. On that particular night I was waiting because it was a Friday night and Saturday was going to be a beautiful, bright, cold front day, meaning a good day for gliding. So I was lying in bed thinking what a nice time I was going to have that Saturday, getting into these nice thermal lifts and soaring around. And in the process of thinking this way, I suddenly felt something bumping against my shoulder. And I looked, and here was this, what looked to be the floor bumping against my shoulder. And I thought, that's strange. I don't remember going to sleep. And I looked across, and I said, there's no rug on the floor. I looked more closely, and there was something sticking up out of the floor that shouldn't be there. And trying to perceive what this was, I got a real close look, and it was the chandelier. And in desperation, I realized that I was not bumping against the floor, I was bumping against the ceiling.
This was his first out-of-body experience.
I looked down, and there below me was the bed, and here was my wife in bed, and here was a man in bed with my wife.
Oh.
And I moved over a little bit closer, and with a great shock, I discovered that the man in bed with my wife was me.
Obviously, this changed Monroe's life. From there on out, he dedicated himself to exploring and teaching about expanded states of consciousness. Monroe approached and documented his experiences with the mindset of a careful, objective reporter. And he documented them without resorting to any occult, religious, or spiritual frameworks for his interpretation. This grounded, investigative approach lent a unique credibility to his work, which was chronicled in his 1971 book, Journeys Out of the Body, a work credited with popularizing the term out-of-body experience, and which sold over 1 million copies.
There's no philosophic connotation in our approach to it, but it is somewhat a process of the recharging mechanism that you get during sleep.
Monroe's research and company evolved over time until his research subsidiary was eventually established as an independent, nonprofit organization in 1985, becoming the Monroe Institute, which is based on 300 acres of land in Faber, Virginia. Their stated purpose: advancing the global awakening of human consciousness. One of the main ways they use to achieve this goal are the Gateway tapes. The Gateway experience is built on a patented audio technology called hemi-sync, short for hemispheric synchronization.
You know how it works, I'm sure. That's by setting one kind of signal, say a 100 hertz signal in this ear, and then 104 hertz over here. And the differential, that 4 hertz, is synthesized by the mind, the brain. You can't hear it, it's too low in frequency to hear. But it is very effective to get that 4 hertz, which is a brainwave frequency, into the human mind.
Think of it as a subtle auditory magic trick. When you listen to two slightly different frequency tones, say a 440 hertz tone in one ear and a 444 hertz tone in the other, your brain doesn't just hear two separate sounds. Instead, it interprets the difference as a third phantom beat. In this case, a 4 hertz tone. This is an auditory illusion known as binaural beats. And this phantom beat, which can only be perceived when both sides of your brain are working together, triggers a phenomenon called the frequency following response. Your brain's electrical activity begins to entrain or synchronize with the beat's frequency, and this creates a state of hemi-sync, where the two hemispheres of your brain work together. This is supposed to enhance focus, to induce states of deep relaxation, to enhance creativity, and even prompt spontaneous out-of-body experiences. Think of the mind like an ordinary lamp, which expands energy chaotically in all directions. The gateway system is designed to turn that chaotic energy into a focused, coherent, laser-like state, creating an optimal condition for improving human performance. While the Monroe Institute and its users claim hemi-sync is a scientifically and clinically proven process with a history spanning decades of research, the mainstream scientific community's findings are more mixed. Some studies have found that binaural beats can influence brain electrical activity and reduce anxiety even when inaudible, suggesting a physiological effect beyond a simple placebo. However, other studies have found no significant changes in EEG measures. Interest in the gateway tapes grew with the declassification of a 1983 CIA report titled Analysis and Assessment of the Gateway Process. Authored by U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Wayne M. McDonnell, the report was part of a larger Cold War investigation into psychic phenomena, including remote viewing. For years, the U.S. government had been exploring the potential of using the mind for espionage, a program that would eventually become known as Project Stargate. We'll put a link to the full document in the description, but the CIA report is the juicy core of the entire gateway tapes phenomenon. It's intensely dense with an almost poetic blend of scientific and pseudoscientific language, attempts to provide a theoretical framework for the gateway process. It is, in essence, a hybrid document. It draws on real scientific concepts, such as quantum mechanics and neuroscience, but it applies them to non-testable metaphysical ideas. The report makes several sensational claims, but perhaps the biggest is that of the holographic universe. The holographic universe theory proposes that our three-dimensional universe is a projection from a two-dimensional surface containing fundamental information, similar to how a 3D image is stored on a 2D holographic plate. A key theoretical underpinning of the Gateway Report is the idea that the universe is a system of interacting energy fields, of which human consciousness is simply another vibrational pattern of energy. And a key part of the Gateway tapes is learning how to manipulate some of those energy fields and patterns. While the scientific and governmental aspects are intriguing, the human story is where the Gateway tapes truly come to life. User testimonials from platforms like Reddit and the Monroe Institute's own website report a wide range of experiences, including out-of-body experiences, and lucid dreaming. Many users describe achieving a deep trance-like state and having experiences that feel like astral projection or lucid dreaming. Heightened intuition and emotional regulation. Users report an enhanced gut instinct and improved emotional control, with one describing their intuitions as being on steroids. Others found relief from anxiety and worry. Spiritual and existential clarity. Some users report a sense of oneness with the universe and a newfound understanding of purpose and manifestation. Some users reported successfully using the patterning technique to manifest small and large desires, from finding an apartment to improving their health. It is also important to acknowledge that not all experiences are positive. Some users report feelings of fear, discomfort, or a sense of uneasiness when using the tapes, with some discontinuing their use for these reasons. And many, even here on this channel, have reported negative triggering reactions upon hearing the tapes because they bring back memories of the GATE program. Our memories is what got us interested in these tapes to begin with. There is no official connection between the Monroe Institute and the GATE program, but countless people remember having big chunky earphones put on them in dim windowless classrooms in what were supposed to be official school programs. But why would official school programs want to teach us these things? We don't know. So we're just a couple of regular people doing the best research we can. Our worlds were kind of shook when we first heard those gateway tapes again, and they brought back so many memories of the pink drink and the binaural beats. The speculation is that after Stargate and MK Ultra, both programs that have been verified and declassified, a certain 3-letter organization didn't want to give up their experiments with remote viewing and expanded consciousness. And who better to test this stuff out than on school children? When we're young, our minds are like sponges. They easily absorb new information and form new connections and neural pathways. While young minds might be the most malleable, what's good for the powers that be is not always good for individuals. Many of our viewers and folks on the other platforms report legitimate trauma based on these experiences. A user on the Gateway Tapes Reddit forums reached out to the Monroe Institute and asked them if they had any connection with the GATE program. Their reply: the Monroe Institute has never been directly involved in programs specifically targeting young children in elementary or primary school settings. However, our sound technology is accessible to a wide network of professionals, such as educators, therapists, and healthcare providers, through our professional division. These professionals may independently choose to explore its potential within their work, always subject to the guidelines and approvals of their respective organizations. In the end, we're still left with a lot of questions, and with every question we've got an answer to, 3 more pop up. We're going to keep researching and reporting on this, and your feedback and comments are a huge part of that. We've gotten lots of leads and paths to further research based on all of you all sharing your experiences and theories in the comments, so please continue to do so. Will Brenner's wife said on their wedding night.
Mount Baldy. Oh, Johnny Carson joke. Margaret, nice job on that. I feel like you're getting better and better as a news reporter.
Investigative journalism is my thing. I didn't even know it.
Somebody be stealing you away from this show. Before I know it, I'll be stuck here in basic cable. You'll be on network TV.
Yep.
Anyway, like we said, we tried these things, these gateway tapes. Mm-hmm. Marge, before we came across these, and like we said a million times, just on random YouTube thing, did you know anything else about binaural beats, or had you heard them or tried them or anything?
I hadn't before I had re-listened to these tapes, because as soon as I did listen to them, they were familiar to
same,
me.
yeah.
So, but beyond that, no.
I had, when I've told my story about on here before about chronic anxiety and all of that. And I've told this story before when we first started the show, so about 3 years ago. I don't know, like 40 people watched that video, I think. So I'll tell a little bit of it here. Yeah, I was having that real bad anxiety. It was kind of peaking. A whole bunch of stuff was going on. I'll do a bigger video on this one of these days. But anyway, I came across on YouTube some binaural beats for anxiety. I'd never in my life been able to meditate because my mind would just go whatever. It used to be too fast in there. And it did help. Yeah, it helped. And then around that time, I had some kind of whatever while meditating. And man, it gets too complicated without doing a whole video on it. Let's just say that it worked for meditating, and, I don't have anxiety anymore and whatever. And we'll get into the rest in another video. But yeah, I had passing... more than passing. I knew what they were, I guess. But like you, when I reheard those tapes, it was all very familiar.
Yeah, it came right back.
Yeah, Bob Monroe's voice, those opening, and those waves. Those waves, man, those were very familiar.
I jotted a couple things down that I experienced. Not the very first. It was tape number 3, actually, when he talks about kind of setting your body up for that deep meditation. And he talks about releasing all of your muscles, one by one, and getting, following the steps down into this deep meditative state. At the beginning of that tape, I felt, as I was listening to it, as he's, going into the opening, whatever, my eyes are closed, and I feel this pressure on the back of my neck. And it feels like somebody taking their finger and just going up the back of my neck like that into my hair, okay?
Just felt your Kundalini rising.
Maybe. Just felt it for a second. But then at the end of that tape, he talks about putting yourself back into that relaxed state. And he says from now on, when you want to do that, you will touch the back of your neck to put yourself back in that state. To me, it was like that was so familiar that I was feeling it beforehand, before they even mentioned it. So that was very odd to me, that sensation came before they even mentioned how to put yourself back into that state.
Well, speaking of meditative states, since that initial time with those binaural beats guided meditation, which I tried to awkwardly explain a few minutes ago, I do meditate then. I have found that helps with a lot of things, mindfulness, anxiety, or whatever. And yeah, and I've been in some, I'd say, fairly deep meditative states, whatever you even want to call them, just we're kind of thoughtless or whatever. These tapes help you get there faster, for me at least, that's for sure.
They really do. I mean... whatever anybody else says about these tapes, at least 1 through 14 helped get me into that state too. Very relaxing. I mean, there were points, and I told Dan, I tried to keep as much information from you as possible, but I know I did mention to you a couple times, like, man, there were a few times when I would get into a state and my body, it would feel as if my body just wasn't even there. It wasn't like I was floating or anything, but just... it's not even a consideration. I didn't have to shift in my seat. I didn't have to, let me swallow because there's spit in my mouth, or let me, whatever. I don't know, adjust or whatever. Like, it just wasn't even there.
Yeah, whatever sensations you're having are just part of the overall thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just...
And you're just floating along.
Yeah, so for meditation, I'd say whether these tapes, or I know there's a ton of them on YouTube, probably to varying degrees of quality, but some binaural beats can help with meditation. You talked about one of your experiences there. One of the first ones I had, this was, I don't know, early on, first, second night doing them maybe. It was late at night. You're already in bed, so I was already probably creeping myself out a little bit. So I put them on. I got ready to do it. And Johnny back there, Johnny Lawrence, had a different hat on then, and it fell off. Like it was a styrofoam hat, so I thought, okay, maybe a small breeze, anything could have got that thing. So I stopped, got ready to start again, leaned back, the guy starts talking about this journey we're going to go on, and that bottle from that picture back there with the 2 eggs and stuff on it fell off and made a huge crash, and I about jumped out of my body then. I about came out of my body. Because I thought that definitely sounds like a warning. A lot of people in my family have died in this house. I thought maybe one of them was coming back to give me a warning or whatever.
Stay away from the gateway.
But anyway, Margaret's fixed it. She made that, by the way, and I love it. I think it's a great art piece. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that put me back on my heels a little bit, but I brayed through like us Gen-Xers do. Most of my experiences were really good meditation. There were some where it did feel like, floating a little bit or maybe, but again, just being in deep meditation can feel like that. Mm-hmm. There was one, an advanced focus 10, they call it, the 10 state, which is supposed to be this deep meditation where your body's asleep, but your mind is aware, is what he says is going on.
Yes.
Where I don't know maybe if I did fall asleep or not. Like all this stuff, anything I don't believe until I have 100% experienced it myself, right? Mm-hmm. But I had this moment where me and 2 of my cousins, who we all, me and one of my cousins lived together, and the other one was over here all the time because his grandparents lived right next door. We were floating right outside my parents' house where we lived as kids, amongst the trees out there. Out of our bodies, flying around, laughing, and whatever. And I thought, well, that definitely didn't just happen because I was a kid in it. So I thought maybe it was a dream. I thought maybe I fell asleep for a minute. It was a dream. Then I read the hemi-sync manual, and apparently Focus 10 can help you remember out-of-body experiences that you've had in sleep. Because according to Robert Monroe, we all astro travel when we're sleeping. We just don't remember it. And sometimes we do in dreams. I don't know. So that was probably the weirdest experience I had. How about you?
I mean, I would say that neck pressure would probably be the weirdest experience I had. I didn't really have any, I guess, unusual or, any kind of paranormal experiences. There were a couple of things that I liked about this that really appealed to me. There was one of the tapes talked about color breathing. Do you remember that? Color breathing? And you could not cure, but help a whole host of ills or feelings that you had. If you felt tired, you could breathe in, this energetic color. I think red was one of the colors. Green was for like calm from anxiety, from any sort of mental stress or anything like that. Purple was like this physically healing type of energy that you breathed in. And those, looking back at it now and thinking about it now, it seems silly, but it really did appeal to me. I could see those colors vividly, and I could create, like, the scene would just pop into my head, like, for the color red, this whole scene of like a red and white barn popped into my head, and all the energy that was kind of associated with a farm. And so like it just, there were very much parts of these exercises that appealed to me. There was another part where, again, you're having to channel these energies, and Monroe is very much about, us being part of those energy fields and manipulating those energy fields with our meditation. Mm-hmm. And so, to get into those states, like sometimes I, visualize energy crackling all over my body, and sometimes it would be like a soothing blue light, and sometimes, but every time I did, just about every time, it was very vivid. It was very real, and it seemed fairly easy to get myself into that state.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're a good visualizer, which I struggled with sometimes, but yeah, often it worked pretty good, the visualizing part. But probably it didn't. I mean, you're more kind of visually artistic person than I am anyway, so that
I
might
don't know
have
about
something
that.
to do
You
with
edit
it.
these films all the
Well,
time, and that's very
true.
visual. So
Do you know how sometimes when you're about to fall asleep, you start getting these flashes of images and stuff in your head? Like it might even be random sound bites or random faces of people you really know or people you don't even know or whatever.
Yeah.
I got a lot of those in some of these meditative states because I guess they're supposed to put your brain like in the brain wave is supposed to replicate sleep in some way.
yeah,
So sometimes when I was in deep meditation, but I've had this happen before just meditating. Yeah, it's almost like when you're just about to fall asleep and you start getting those random images pop up, which I think is always fun because you just kind of look at it and you're like, what the heck is going on in my subconscious, man?
it's kind of like riding a
knows?
roller coaster in your own brain.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
fun.
wow, let's go through this wild tunnel. What is this?
Are you going to keep doing them?
I think so. I think I'm going to keep doing definitely the ones that I'm familiar with now. I don't know that I'll go much further, but I might.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think they're nefarious or anything. Like I could see how they could be used for those purposes. Like, again, if they were giving them to kids and unbeknownst to them, these programs or whatever, yeah, that's not good.
That would
But
instantly
it's
be...
separate from the tapes or the program itself, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So just because they've been used for bad purposes doesn't mean they are inherently bad.
right.
It gets crazy, though. I mean, I say crazy, but if you start reading some of these experiences the guy supposedly has had in the astral planes, we got something weird awaiting us in the afterlife, Marge.
Oh, I'm sure we do anyway.
Time for the big unveil.
Yeah? Time for the big unveiling?
Or either
Okay.
of a psychic. I wanted to clarify what we're doing here. We're doing tape 14 of the Gateway Tapes program, which is a remote viewing exercise. There's 3 tests. 6 numbers in an envelope that we hide and try to guess. Hiding a cotton ball in a room that the other person is not in and trying to remote view where they hit it at. And then placing an object on ourselves as we do the meditation so the other person can try to remote view and see what that object is and guess. Here we go with the results. All right, me and Marge are getting ready to start our gateway test. I'm going to write my numbers down here. 5, and I'm just picking these totally random, whatever comes in here. 43, 14, 22, 9, and 17. There you go. 5, 43, 14, 22, 9, and 17. Put them in the envelope. And I will place the envelope. The magic top hat. Okay. Now, I'll take this cotton ball and I'm going to place it on that metal ship back there. Right there with Ric Flair. And finally, I'm going to hold with me as we do this Golden State Warriors hat. See if Margaret can view it.
Hello, guys. I'm recording my my pre-test answers. Yep, there's the hit like and subscribe cat right there. There's Mr. Naddington's. But I am writing down my my 6 numbers. As you can see, before this test, here is the cotton ball. So I'm placing this somewhere that Dan can find. And then I'm also, as an extra test that we devised, we're putting something near us as well. And so I wrote down that. And that's where I'm going to have that item. So I'm taking this, putting it in this envelope, and try to do it one-handed. And I'm going to, yeah, we're going to do that. And we're going to seal it up. There it is.
Well, let's do the cotton ball first.
Okay.
You know how when he's talking about, imagine the cotton ball coming up
Mm-hmm.
and then dropping.
Yes.
I'm visualizing your room because we knew it'd be in there. So when I saw it coming up, it was over there somewhere by the cats, but when it dropped, it was over on the left side of your desk somewhere. Is that close?
It was close, yeah.
Okay.
The cotton ball was in my left pocket.
You know it dropped into somewhere like around there and just kind of disappeared.
I put it in my left pocket, which I have.
Did you think about hiding it by the cat stuff?
No, but
okay.
when I sit at my desk, however, and sorry, that was probably really loud on the mic. But when I sit at my desk, however, the cat area is to my left.
Okay.
I mean, and it's right there. I wrote on my piece of paper here, cotton ball near me. It was in my pocket.
Okay. Where do you think the one I hit is?
So when I saw the cotton ball in your room, I visualized your room, and I kept seeing the cotton ball up near Johnny's ear. And then it would like, whenever it lifted, it would lift by Johnny, kind of. And I kept visualizing it in his ear, which I know is not possible. He's a cardboard cutout, but that's where I visualized
It's
it.
in Ric Flair's ear.
What?
Right over here. No.
Oh, he fell off.
Ric Flair
Okay.
had it over there, holding it just like that. So yeah, close to his ear. He looks a little bit like Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Blonde hair, blue eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it was sitting up there on the...
Okay. And he's over there kind of by Johnny.
So
I kept
close.
visualizing it by, like, lifting up by Johnny's ear and then dropping on the floor next to him. I don't know.
Very close.
Okay.
What object were you holding atop yourself?
I was holding...
Wait. No, I'm supposed to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Your Murloc.
Huh.
Your Murloc?
Very close.
Oh.
Very, very close. It was that little card
Oh.
on top of my little Murloc.
I thought about that, but then I just thought the Murloc.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So she's got stuffed Murloc from World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Which he got me. And it's so cute.
How about you? What do you think I had?
I visualized the little agate gear shift lever that you have.
Yeah.
And I kept seeing it somewhere over here, but I couldn't figure out where. It kind of like drawer, dresser, I don't know. It seemed like it was under a desk or a shelf or something.
I mean, it is under one of these shelves over here, but it's not what I was holding. I was holding my Golden State Warriors hat because I thought it would be easy to see because it's bright yellow.
Because it was bright yellow. Okay.
Right, so not even close on that one.
All right. Well, you know.
Now the big one.
Okay. So another thing we were supposed to do in this tape, or before the tape, is jot down 6 numbers that, you know, we could keep fresh in our heads and kind of transmit to the other person. And I have written down my numbers here, and then the numbers that I also thought about, although I realized 2 of these numbers are my numbers. So, all right. So another thing that we're doing is sharing our numbers that we thought of just before this activity. And we're going to share the numbers that we thought of for the other person. Which, looking at mine, I realized that I wrote down 2 of my own numbers.
Oh, I might have too. I can't remember what I wrote down.
Anyway, all right. So I'm going to give you my numbers first, and you're going to tell me what you guessed my numbers were.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So my numbers that I chose were 8.
I got 1.
You got 8?
I got 8.
11.
No.
12.
Nope.
17.
No.
38.
Nope.
33.
No.
But you did get the 8.
I did get the 8.
You know what's funny is that I wrote down 8 twice. I wrote down 8 for you. So maybe that was the magic number, was 8.
I got a lot of 3s in here. 6, 73, 8, 44, 13, and 43. 1 out of 6 is probably average, though. 2 or 3, you're doing good. But
You'd be on a level.
I will admit that when we were doing this exercise, I didn't feel like I was in that deep of a meditative state. I didn't, there's that speaker again. I didn't have a lot of confidence, so how did you feel doing it?
Yeah, I didn't feel as deeply, I guess, meditative on this one as I did on the other ones. I don't know if that's because we were kind of pressuring ourselves to do this exercise with one another for the channel.
Yeah, and we're on deadline.
And we were on a deadline. Or if it just didn't grab me as much as the other tapes. But yeah, for whatever reason, I didn't feel as deeply into it. I know I saw the cotton ball clearly. And can I say, too, because I just realized this, that I wrote down right here, and I scribbled it out later on. Woo! Do you know who says woo?
Ric Flair.
Yes.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
So I just realized that because I was staring at Ric Flair there for a second.
Oh, well, yeah, that is really good.
So those were the only things that I
Should have
felt.
led with that.
Well, I didn't. I'd totally forgotten that I'd written it down because later on I scribbled it out and was like, no. That's when I was trying to think of. I think that was when I was trying to think about.
Always go with the first instinct, because I think my first instinct was that card, and I thought, well, what's sitting on that Murloc? I'll just whatever.
Right.
All right. Well, what about your numbers?
Oh, what did I guess for you? Mm-hmm. I guessed 8 and 11. Those were mine. 31, 71, 64, and 55.
None of them.
No.
You have 17, so it's close to 71.
17, yeah. 71.
Yeah. 5, 43, 14, 22, 9, and 17 were the ones I picked.
Nowhere near. And that's why we're not going to win the Powerball later.
We are going to win that Powerball. I'm manifesting it right now.
That's right. We better get in there and start meditating more.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It was fun, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, you guys should come back and see us next week. Mm-hmm. We're going to have, for our next show, I'm sorry, we don't know if it's going to be next week or not, but our next show is going to be about Bliss Point Foods. And we are going to be reviewing some 90s albums for every year of the 90s.
Entertainment Weekly did a countdown of the best albums of every year of the 90s. Let's just say I disagree with it.
Yeah, we're going to rip that list
You're going down, Entertainment Weekly! Damn kill!
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, guys.